Hello everyone. Before we get started, if you enjoyed this video once it's done, please like and share. Also, if you enjoy the content that I'm putting out, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you cut on all notification bells so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. Thank you. So, I don't know how to start this off, but my name is Adrian, and I'll start off by telling you guys that for a while I was never a big believer in the paranormal, ghosts or apparitions or demons or etc. stuff like that. But something had happened that changed my whole entire perspective on those type of things. So I was working for a corporation. I'm not gonna name it because I don't want to face any type of lawsuits or anything, but I've been there for about a year. And when I started there was a manager or supervisor or boss, whatever he calls himself. He was a really, how can I put it, a shitty guy. He was very abusive towards me. He made the women feel uncomfortable, but of course in these cases, we couldn't just report at him because he obviously had the power to blackball us from other jobs, and he was a very, very disturbed man, and he was really one of the worst, if not one of the worst bosses I've ever had to work with. I mean, I hated this guy. This man's name was Vince, and he was a complete asshole. And I'm sorry, but that's what he was. Now, something that happened that made us realize that Vince was a monster. And I'm not using that word lightly. The things that he's done, I am still trying to wrap my mind around the fact that how was he able to get away with all the things he's done to his co-workers, especially to the women. This happened 2 years ago, obviously. I was just coming in and I was getting ready to start work. As I sat at my cubicle, that's when I saw the King of Darkness approach me. Adrian, what's going on here? Just, what's going on? What's going on? Okay? What is going on? This is like my 18th time telling you to have those documentations ready on my desk before the 18th, and you haven't gotten it done. Do I have to fire you? I don't want to do that. What the hell is your problem? I can get someone who's more dumber than you to get it done faster. What's your problem? I need it done. And just because of that, you're going to stay overnight until all of this is done. If you don't, I'm letting you go. And don't you think about trash talking me to anyone else or other employers, because I will see to it that you will never get a job again. I have that influence and I have that power, Vince said to me. I rolled my eyes because I just couldn't believe it. Right when I come in, the man is already on my ass. I replied to him and told him, "Sir, you didn't tell me anything about some documentation. Maybe you got someone else confused with me." And I stopped mid-sentence because Vince was giving me some kind of death stare. And then he gestured for me to follow him back to his office. And I knew what that meant. And I didn't like the idea of this. I was dreading it. But I got up and followed him to the office. Once I got inside the office, he told me to close the door. I closed it. And then Vince stood almost about 2 centimeters close to me, where he was almost touching my face. And then he said to me quietly, "So, Adrian, you think you're tough? Think you're big and bad? Trying to talk back to me in front of the other associates? Huh? Do you forget that I'm the one that's writing your fucking paycheck? Huh? Come on, just answer me. You gotta be scared. You were talking all big and bold or out there. Come on. No one's gonna see us. There's no cameras in here. Come on. Is that what it was?" Look, all I was sent. I didn't have time to finish because as I was talking, I saw his fist flying and it connected to my nose. The punch was brutal and I felt like my nose broke. I could feel blood dripping down from it as well. After that, Vince grabbed some tissues and he gave it to me, and I put the tissue on my nose so it can bleed on there. And then he said to me as he opened up the door, "Oh my goodness, Adrian, you gotta be careful how you walk. It's dangerous. Hope your nose heals. Alright, well, get back to work. I'll talk with you later. Good job." I walked back to my cubicle as everyone was staring at me. But everyone knew that I didn't fall, that this was Vincent's doing. But I sat in my cubicle and I started to work. I had a lot of work I had to do thanks to Vincent. No one could talk because we weren't allowed to. If Vincent heard us talking, he'll do some things that I can't mention. But when it comes to the women, obviously they have it worse. He not only bullies them and picks on them, he also sexually harasses them and assaults them as well. He even told one woman that if she wants to get a good promotion, that she has to sleep with him. But to make matters worse, he said that she had to do it in front of all of us. Yes, I'm not even joking. He wanted that woman to sleep with him in front of all of us, basically engaging in inappropriate acts in front of all the co-workers to humiliate her. And from what I understand afterwards, she was so embarrassed and so horrified by what happened and traumatized that she committed suicide here in this office. She took a lot of pills and she died at her cubicle. Since then, no one has ever took that spot. Too many people are afraid. Plus, there was rumors going around that they reportedly saw her ghost or something, but I didn't believe in that. I didn't believe that until that night. As I was working, trying to get this stuff done so I can go home, it was around 12 o'clock in the morning. It was extremely late. Everyone was gone, just maybe a few janitors here and there cleaning up the office and everywhere else in the building. As I was working, there was a very dim light in the office. It was mostly dark except in my cubicle. As I was working, I heard crying. It sounded like it was coming from a woman. I stopped what I was doing and I looked around. I thought I was the only one in there. I asked, hello? Is someone here? Hello? But of course, I didn't get a response. I sat back down and done my work. I was doing that, and then as I was typing, I felt a very cold draft. Matter of fact, it was a frigid draft. I looked around and I thought maybe my fan was on, but it was off. I got up to adjust the AC, but when I got there, it was locked. Of course, I knew it was Vincent. He had locked it. He didn't want no one touching the AC. I looked around and I just figured that I'll just get the jacket out that I keep in my drawer. Once I put that on, I was about to get up and go get some coffee to stay awake. I was going into the break room. And when I got into the break room, I stopped because the break room was indeed cold and frigid, but there was something else that caught my attention. There was a woman that was standing there. It was a woman wearing a business outfit, I guess similar to what all the other co-workers, the female co-workers, wear at this job. But it was that hair, that long blonde hair, and I couldn't believe it. It couldn't have been. It couldn't have been. I thought for a second that it looked like Bethany, but she took her own life after what Vincent done to her. But she was standing right there. The minute she turned around, I knew that it was Bethany, but the only thing was her eyes were black, and she had blood dripping down from them. She was crying. As much as I wanted to be scared, but I couldn't, I just felt sorrow for her. Of all the abuse the women go through here, Bethany went through the worst. She kept on gesturing for me to come near her. I was hesitant, but I could just feel her, and something felt like that she wasn't gonna do anything sinister. I don't know if it was me or maybe it was somehow her doing this, but I walked closer. She grabbed my hands and she walked me towards this computer. It was a camera. I didn't realize it, but it was in Vince's office. But last time I checked, he didn't have any cameras there. But then when I looked at this video footage, it was a camera that Bethany put onto Vincent's desk. It looked like a pin, but it was a camera indeed. And what I saw was horrifying. In that video, I'm not going to go into too much of it because of YouTube, but something traumatic was happening to Bethany. And that monster, Vince, was getting pleasure out of doing this. I started to cry. I couldn't believe that she went through all of that. And if it couldn't get any worse, it did. There was another video where she comes into Vince's office and she tells him that she's pregnant with his child. And that bastard told her to go have an abortion and kill it, because if she didn't do it, he was going to kill her and that baby. He said he didn't want his name and reputation to be destroyed. He wanted her out of there. She felt so horrible about the way that man treated her that she went to her cubicle desk, which that's where it showed, and she was taking a whole bunch of pills, and eventually she collapsed onto her desk. And then obviously I found her, which I am on that video. I found her about maybe 3 hours after she had medicated herself to death. And I tried calling the cops, but Vincent didn't want me to do that. Instead, he took over. He grabbed her, as all the coworkers saw, and he got inside of his car, and I don't know what he done. I thought for a moment, should I show this to the police? Because someone like Vincent needs to be brought down. And I decided that I was going to make the right choice, and I was going to take this to the police officer. The moment I took this to the police station, the next day, Vincent was arrested. Everything about him came out into the open, about how he sexually harassed, sexually assaulted his female workers. It also came out that he also forced Bethany to have sex with him, and he got her pregnant and told her to have an abortion, and if she didn't, he was going to kill her and the baby. And that's what made her took her own life. After all that came out, it was a huge scandal, and Vince lost everything. It was refreshing to see him finally go down. We also, all the coworkers, including me, told our story about what this man would do to us. I even had video evidence of when Vincent would punch me and threaten me. After that, Vincent served about 27 years in prison. As for the company, it did go under for a bit, but one of the female co-workers that I used to work with, she took over as boss and took Vincent's place. After that, the company became an even bigger success, even bigger than when Vince was the boss. Afterwards, the company that I go to now is more better, more fun, and it's not toxic, and I like that. As for Bethany, I really hope she rests in peace. I didn't believe in ghosts and apparitions and none of that, but I certainly believe now. If it wasn't for her, I'd still be dealing with all of this stuff with Vincent. She's the reason everything got set into motion, her ghost. And I hope that she's finally resting in peace and living a really easy afterlife. Take care, Bethany. And as for Vince, a big fuck you. I hope you rot and never see the light of day again.